Previously on Fly with the Guy. What we're going to do is we are going to the Festival of the Lights. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's pretend like it's still yesterday.
I've been trying to make my wallet fold all day. Cashing in my dreams, big payout. Underneath my money tree, big shade.
Happy day 7 of 7, y'all. We are finally going home. And you know the best part about this being go home day is that I get to start vacation after this. So I'm on vacation for 10 days. Yes, getting paid and not having to be at work. But my alarm just went off telling me I have 10 minutes to get downstairs, so I'm about to make that shake and bake. I haven't talked to you all today, which means there's no Vlogtober footage today, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do, we'll talk on the plane. Maybe we'll do a cabin tour. I'll figure out something on the way to the airport for us to talk about today for Vlogtober. But yeah, we're going home today. Let's see. Batch. I'm all the way at the end of the hallway, so I really need to put a little pep in my step to get all the way up front. This bag is so light. There's nothing in here except for empty bowls and my tumbler. Y'all, I don't know if y'all listen to rap music, but Glorilla's album, Glorious, is albuming. When I tell you, that is a really good body of work. Such a good album. Like, if you're into rap and female rap, check that album out. It's a very quick, like, 45-minute listen, but it's good. All right, I'm about to be late. Let's go. Okay, made it onto the aircraft. Let's talk about some of the things that we do to prepare for the flight. So, come on, we do our crew briefing that is done with the whole cabin crew as well as the flight deck crew. The pilots give us a briefing, and then our purser carries out a briefing for the rest of us. We pick positions, we talk about the flight, the passengers we have on board, specials, we talk about the weather en route, we talk about the condition on the plane and things that we should note. All of those things are covered in our crew briefing, as well as going over and clarifying positions, making sure everyone knows what, kind of like what their position entails. Then we're released to our positions to start doing our equipment checks. Equipment is all over the aircraft, both emergency equipment and safety equipment, like first aid. So we check all of that. What?
You're done.
I'm done.
Have to walk them.
What is that?
You were the last one.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm done. And then I'm working up here, one right in the premium cabin. So what I like to do in any section that I'm working in, unless I'm in the galley. If I'm in the galley, I don't care about doing it. But why are you making that face? You'll tell me in a sec? Okay. But when I'm working in the cabin section, I kind of go through my section and double check. I had a few seats up here where I needed to replace the in-flight catalog, because sometimes they just get really frayed and nasty, and then a couple seats were missing them, so I made sure all of the seats had them. We are expecting a lot of wind during this flight, so I also go through and I put extra air sick bags at each seat, because why not? We're never at a shortage of air sickness bags, so I put an extra one at every seat, so everybody has one, just in case. If you remember the other day and the incident we had, I just like to make sure I avoid that. They did not put out the amenities when they cleaned the aircraft, so I'm actually going to go ahead and put out the amenities now. The cart with the crew food should have all the extra space in it. I know, you have to keep it until the end of first service. Like many jobs, one of the key ways to be successful as a cabin crew member is to be proactive. So whenever you can anticipate the needs of your guests or your passengers and plan for them in advance, it takes less on you to have to react to every little request that they might require. This particular flight, we were expecting to have 54 of the 56 seats up here occupied. So that's why I'm taking this extra time while we're on the ground to just make sure that the cabin is tidy and presentable, because it's going to be a lot of people up here potentially asking a lot of questions. Every aisle seat has a footrest that gives the vertically challenged crew members and passengers an extra 6 inches of clearance off the ground. Also, we never run out of bin space. On the interior overhead bins, those bags have to lay flat, so we can only get about 3 in there. But on the outside, the bags fit best when they're turned on their side. So you can fit 4 large or 5 small carry-on bags in each of the overhead lockers. If you've been following me for a while, you know I do not play about my cleanliness. So one of the things that, hey Niji, one of the things I always make sure I do is that my galley and the workstation that I'm responsible for, as well as my jump seat, are nice and cleaned and sanitized. I was responsible for the galley, so here I am verifying my meals, making sure I have the accurate amount for the passengers we're expecting, as well as the dietary meals. Pulling out the bread because I'm going to put that in the oven now, so that when we get in the air and turn on the ovens, the bread is actually in the oven cooking. Don't ask me how I know. I've just learned from mistakes that the bread needs to be in the oven when you go to cook the bread. Then I'm double checking the meal options. Sometimes they do change, like on today's flight they changed, but option 1 was a chicken breast with mashed potatoes and vegetables. Option 2 was supposed to be gnocchi, but it ended up being this rigatoni pasta with the mushroom cream sauce and spinach. And then back to that whole notion of efficiency, because both of these look exactly alike, it can be kind of difficult in the cabin to determine if you're picking up a chicken or a pasta. So I started off just writing like a C on all of the chicken and a P on all of the pasta, but they were wet. So then I switched over from using a Sharpie to just using a stir stick to kind of make an indentation in each of the labels. Again, just things you pick up over time working with senior flight attendants that come in handy for a lifetime. After takeoff, we did our first service, then our main meal service. This was actually a glimpse of my car after the service. I had quite a few wine drinks because I went through a lot of bottles of wine. After my break, I did bake these pumpkin spice cookies for the crew, which they were really appreciative of, so I really enjoyed doing that. And then before long, we were back in New York. Guess who has finished? Guess who is done? Guess who is on vacation? Me. They got their money's worth and then some. This was the hardest flight out of all 7 days and the 4 flights we worked. This was the most difficult. But I'm so happy to be done. Do I remember where I parked at? Absolutely not. So I gotta stop talking to y'all so I can go on park car on this map and see if I can find my vehicle. Inhale. It's done. But let's rewind so I can tell you what happened. So I don't know how many times I've come on this camera and say that boarding is the most chaotic part of the flight. And today proved to be no different. So working in the premium cabin, there were so many issues. There was one passenger who said she paid for a window seat. She wanted her window seat. They moved her to an aisle seat. She was going to make a big fuss and she was going to complain the whole time if she didn't get her window seat. Okay, ma'am, well, I don't know what is open because it's a full flight. So please just take the seat you have, and as soon as I can work something out, I will come to you. No, I'm going to stand in the galley and wait. Okay, well, you stand there. Somebody else, he and his wife were in a bank of 3 seats, but they had both of the aisle seats, and somebody else was in the middle. They wanted the 2 open seats that they saw further up in the cabin. that were by the window, where I was like, look, it's a full flight. I can't promise you that those seats will be open. So please just take your seats, and when I can work it out, I will come to you. Well, apparently I wasn't moving fast enough, because literally every 3 minutes, this man came to say, can we move to these seats? Can we move to these? Sir, we're not done boarding. Just because you board in the first 3 minutes, there are still 42 more minutes for other people to show up. Then we had this other gentleman come on. He and his daughter but the daughter was like, teenager old, well, more than capable of sitting by herself. But I understand people want to sit with their people. So he was in the middle seat, and then she was in the middle seat, like 3 rows behind him. And so then he was like going around to everybody saying, hey, would you give up your aisle seat and take that middle seat? And I was like, sir, you have got to stop. Please stop going around to people. It was so okay. And this is just happening in premium in my little 8 rows. So once everybody finally just listened, and I was like, just sit down and wait. And once everybody just listened to me, when I tell you all, I worked everything out. I got a window seat open. I moved the lady that was supposed to have a window seat to the window seat. That freed up her seat. Then I could ask another lady who was sitting on an aisle seat if she would move back 2 rows to the same seat, 2 rows back, which she was perfectly capable of doing, which then opened up an aisle and a middle seat together. And then I could move the father and his daughter and those seats together, which then left the couple, the man and his wife, who were on the 2 aisle seats with the seat in the middle, to have the whole 3 seats to themselves. And y'all could just decide where y'all want to sit at. If you never played dominoes, if you never played Tetris, like, you would struggle. But if you excel at those games, seat dominoes will be very easy for you. That was just what's happening in premium. In the back, it was a totally different type of party. But I wasn't working back there. So I'm going to be honest with y'all, I didn't care. But after that fiasco, the rest of the flight was textbook. Perfect. Easy. That's it. We are going to the crash pad. I'm on vacation for 10 days, but I do not feel like driving to Virginia. I do not have enough strength to make it the 6.5 hours driving home right now. So instead, we're going to go spend the night at the crash pad, and I'm either going to drive tomorrow or we're going to go to Miami tomorrow. That is all to be determined. Yeah. We'll see. That's it. That's all. Thank you all so much for watching another day of Vlogtober. You know, video every day, just a little snippet of what's happening. I'm Brandon. I'm a guy who flies, and I will see you all the next time.
No, a day goes by.